Hey guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. I haven't made a video in like a month. It's been so long. But I've been going through a really bad depression. I think it's a mixture of me trying to find a job, healing from the breakup, all this change happening. I tell people all the time that I don't know what's worse, the dating pool right now or the job pool. It's really depressing, but anyways, I'm back with another video. I'm gonna do a little story time on my last breakup, what happened, how I'm healing, all that. But I want to make a disclaimer before I start this video that I'm not making this video just to talk about what a terrible person my ex was. Like, yes, the things he did were terrible, but I'm not making a video to just bash him. And honestly, no one knows who this man is, so it doesn't even matter. Like, my best friend doesn't even know his name to this day, and I was with him for like a year, but no one knows who he is, so it doesn't matter. But the point is, I'm not making a video to just bash him. I'm making it to ground myself, and it helps me process this, because when I hear myself say it out loud and I kind of explain my feelings and stuff like that, it really helps ground me and helps me feel like, yes, my feelings are valid, and yes, it's okay to feel the way I did, and the things that he did to me were messed up, because I feel like I questioned a lot of the things that he did to me. So yeah, and another reason why I want to make these videos is if any other girlies are going through similar situations, it's really comforting to see that you're not alone in this situation, and there's people out there dealing with similar situations. And yeah, just seeing how other people deal with a similar situation that you're in is really helpful in processing your own emotions. So yeah, even if it helps one person, or if this is just entertaining for a couple of people, then so be it. But yeah, let's get on with the video. Side note, this jacket has got me through some shit. I don't know why, but every time I'd be sad, I'd throw on this little oversized Nike jacket and I just sit with my hood on and just cry. But this is my like emotional support sweater, I guess. Also, before I start this video, I do want to do a trigger warning. There is going to be talk about unaliving and some other sexual trauma. So if you're sensitive to that, please just wait for the next video. I don't want to trigger anyone. I know how traumatizing triggers can be. So yeah, wow. I don't even know where to start. There's just so much I endured during this relationship. It's mind-blowing. It's honestly mind-blowing. But yeah, this video is going to be kind of long. But anyways, so before we even started dating, he messages me on Instagram. We work at the same place. I'm out of town. Messages me on Instagram. We exchange numbers, and I tell him something about myself. Nothing about him. I tell him something about myself that he does not like. He is upset about it, whatever. So he proceeds to tell me that my best friend on my Instagram page is his ideal type. And I'm sitting there like, you wanted me first, but you're telling me my best friend is your ideal type? And like, don't get me wrong, my best friends, they're all baddies. They're all gorgeous inside and out. They're so beautiful. Like, I'd have a crush on them too. But like, it's the fact that you came to me first and now you're telling me my best friend is your ideal type. Like, that was foul. That was foul. And I remember when it happened, I like kind of lost my shit, because I was like, I already had no self-worth. And hey, don't come at me. I know I should have left at this point. I know that was a huge red flag, but at this moment, my self-worth was at an all-time low. I did not have a crumb of self-worth. I didn't have anything. I don't know what I was doing. That was old Ken. She was wild, and I don't know what happened. Got in on a technicality. Anyways, he tells me that, and I'm like, okay, you go fuck off. You're weird. And I don't know how, but I think he just kept calling me like insecure. He was like, oh, if you told me that my best friend was your ideal type, like, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd be like, okay, like, why can't we move past this? Why can't we be friends? All this. And I'm like, mind you, this is my first impression of you. Like, I've made eye contact with you maybe once at work before I went out of town. So this is my first impression of you, and you want me to be friends? You want me to just get over that? Like, what? Okay, reminder, my self-worth, non-existent. Non-existent. So when I get back to San Diego after traveling for a month, I hang out with him. I hang out with him. And yeah, we end up hanging out for a couple weeks. He tells me he loves me. And then we get into a relationship. And I'm like, yeah, like, hell yeah. Like, someone loves me. Like, ooh, this is cool. But no, it wasn't. It was just so traumatizing. But yeah, we get into a relationship, all that, and it was just a very toxic relationship. And I'm not gonna get into all the details. That would take, the story time would be like 6 hours long. But yeah, get into a relationship, it's really toxic. And a couple months into the relationship, I find out something that literally crushed me. Like, literally traumatized the fuck out of me. So the first couple months in the relationship, he's calling me pretty, he's telling me I'm the prettiest girl in the world, and I'm so delusional. I fall for love bombing because I'm like, you know what, hell yeah, every man that meets me should be in love with me, should think I'm the prettiest girl in the world. But lesson learned. But after the couple of months of him love bombing me, calling me pretty, all that, he just stops calling me pretty. And he starts making comments about my hair. At this point, I had blonde hair. And he would always make comments about how, oh, like, why do you have blonde hair? You're Asian. You look so much better with black hair. And let me get this straight right now. I do not have black hair because he said that right now. But I had this hair because I wanted it. Okay? Now. But so those comments really got to me. It really hurt my self-esteem because it was like, oh, you stopped calling me pretty. Now you're talking about how you don't like my blonde hair, all that. And so I had a hair appointment coming up. And I was like, you know what? I haven't had black hair in a while. Like, let me just go do black hair. And never listen. As a woman, never change your looks because a man says they don't like something. If they don't like it, get the fuck out of my way. Because someone else will. Anyway, never change your looks for a man. Never. Never. Anyways. Mind you, my self-worth was still down there. So I go to Vegas. I tell my hairstylist, I'm like, I want jet black hair. And she looks at me and she's like, are you sure? Because I've had blonde hair for years, like 5+ years, maybe more than that. And she was like, Ken, are you sure? And I was like, yes, jet black hair right now, pronto. And she was like, okay, I guess. She didn't give me jet black hair. She did something a little bit similar to jet black hair, but she didn't make it completely black. And thank God, I love her. She has saved my life. Countless times, but she knew that wasn't me talking. That was someone else. But I ended up getting dark hair, and I come back to San Diego because I went to Vegas to get my hair done. Come back to San Diego. I have dark hair, and he still doesn't call me pretty. And I'm sitting there like, wait, am I ugly? I'm like freaking out because my self-esteem is already low. I changed my hair to what he said he would like, and wait, I'm still not pretty to you? Like, what the hell? I was freaking out. And looking back on that, I feel so bad for that kid because it's like, oh my God, I was so sad, and like my self-esteem was just at an all-time low, and like I just feel so bad for her. So I start getting suspicious because I'm like, oh, like this is kind of weird. Like I feel like there's something going on behind the scenes or something. So I go through his iPad while he's at work. And I see something that literally crushed me. And this relationship was very toxic, very, very, very toxic and not healthy. But I go through his iPad and I see text messages between him and his friend, and he's telling his friend that he has a new girlfriend, and he screenshots a picture from my Instagram, and it's a bikini picture, and he sends it to his friend, and he describes me to his friend as a double D athletic build. Those words will never leave my mind because you just call me a double D athletic build. That's how you described me. That's the only thing he said. Only thing he said about me. Like, I'm funny, I'm cool, I'm smart. Like, he couldn't use any of those words. Like, I'm cool. So many. He could not pull out a thesaurus and like maybe describe me in any other way than objectifying me. But oh my god, I was so sad because I thought I was more than a body to him, because my bad for believing that when he said I love you, he meant I love you. My bad. Anyways, so I find that, and then I keep scrolling, and I see an unsaved number, and I scroll up, and I see a nude. I see a nude picture of me that was taken without my consent. I was on FaceTime with him changing into, I remember the outfit. Like, that picture is ingrained into my mind. It's ingrained into my mind. I know exactly where I was. I know exactly when I called him. I know exactly what outfit I was putting on. But yeah, we were on FaceTime together, and he screenshotted me changing, and I was naked. And he screenshotted that and sent it to a random number. And I was just so in shock at this point. And mind you, like, this relationship was very toxic. And when I was going through all this, I remember I texted my friends and I was like, oh my god, you guys will not believe what I found, like, blah blah blah. But I wasn't like crazy upset, because I was just so happy that I didn't find girls on his phone. I was like, you know what? He thinks I'm hot. He thinks I'm hot, guys. It's okay. And every single one of my friends were like, Ken, this is really bad. Like, this might be bad, worse than cheating. Like, this is really bad. And I was like, guys, you're missing the point. He thinks I'm hot. He thinks I'm hot. And they were like, Ken, this is really bad. And I'm just so delusional at this point. I'm like, guys, I think you're overreacting. And I was seriously just so relieved that I didn't find any other girls he was talking to. And so I didn't confront him about it until like 2 weeks after I found it. And it kind of took me a long time to process, and I think still to this day, it's still not really processing in my head what happened. But I remember I confronted him about it, and it was not good. It was so bad. I confronted him about it, and I'm sitting there, I'm asking him, like, who did you send this to? What else have you sent that I don't know? What other pictures of me do you have that I don't know? Like, it just felt like my whole world came crashing down, because I genuinely love this man with my whole entire heart. Like, I had rose-colored glasses on this entire relationship. I thought that I could fix everything. I thought I could fix him. I thought I could fix this relationship. Like, when I tell you I love this man, I loved him bad. Like, I was down bad for this man. So it was so heartbreaking to see that someone that claimed to love you did that to you, you know? And it was like, I looked at the date of when those were sent, and it was like a couple days after we got into a relationship, and like a little bit over a week after he told me that he loved me for the first time. So it was like my whole world came crashing down. I just didn't know what to feel. I was just so upset. So when I confronted him about it, the first thing that he says was, why were you looking through my iPad? And I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out, crying, being like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you're completely missing the point. And then I'm just like crying, upset. Like, I don't even remember what I said, but I remember he looked at me, and before he even said sorry, he looked at me and he was like, what are you gonna do? Sue me? If you sue me, I'm gonna unalive myself. And I'm sitting there on my bed. My heart is beating so fast. I'm freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to feel at this point. He's making himself into the victim. I'm sitting there crying, like wanting to throw up, like not even just knowing what to feel. Like I'm freaking out, and he threatens to leave. He's telling me he's gonna leave, all this, and I'm sitting on my bed crying, and I remember that feeling so well. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like, it still affects me to this day, but when I was sitting on that bed, I could literally just imagine right now how hurt I felt, how betrayed I felt, how sad I felt. And I just feel so bad for old Ken, because I'm like, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I'm so sorry that you had to feel that way. I'm so sorry that someone you thought loved you, someone that you loved, did that to you. And when someone threatens to unalive themselves, you're very confused. I know I'm not responsible for anyone else's life but my own, but when you love someone and they're threatening that, it's very confusing. It's like you don't know what to do. So I stayed with him for a few more months, and it never got better. It kept getting worse. It kept getting worse. And this is why I'm such a big advocate on leave at the first red flag, because it never gets better. It never gets better. And my self-esteem was just so low. It was my first relationship, and I just was blinded by those rose-colored glasses. But yeah, I ended up staying with him for a few more months after that. And I'm about to move out of San Diego. I'm about to go abroad for a few months, so it's just a lot happening. It was just easier to just, brush it under the rug. It's fine, whatever. But we stay together, and again, it gets worse. It gets worse. And as I'm about to move out, I tell him that, hey, like, maybe you should move up to Seattle, which is my hometown. I was like, maybe you should move up to Seattle. There's a lot more opportunity out there. The pay there is way higher. Housing isn't as expensive. I have connections up there. I could help you move up there. And I still wanted the best for him. Like, I still loved him, as backwards as that may seem after finding out what I found out. I still loved him. I loved him with every inch of my heart. I wanted the best for him. I just sat there and I hoped. I was like, maybe if his personal life got better, our relationship would get better. Maybe if I fix things with his personal life, if I help fix things with his personal life, our relationship would be okay. And he would also tell me a lot of the times, like, I need to get over a lot of the things that he did. And looking back at it, it was very manipulative, but he was like, you stay sitting in the past, all this, and just tell me that I just hold grudges, and just tell me that I'm not a good person for not letting things go. And it was very manipulative, very manipulative. But I still wanted the best for him, so I moved him up to my hometown. And before this, it was like the night before he was about to fly out to Seattle. He was gonna fly out of LAX, and I had one day off that week. And so I told him, I was like, it's fine, I'll just drive you to LAX. And the night before, we're laying in my bed. I'm laying on his chest, and I see his phone light up. I see his phone light up, and it's like 11 p.m. And I ask him, I'm like, who is that? And he's like, oh, like, it's no one, like, it's probably blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to look at it because it's going to trigger me, all that. And I was like, at first I was like, okay, like, I get it. But then I was like, wait, no, who is that? Who is that? And he was refusing to tell me, got really upset with me, and he flipped his phone over. And so I turn over in the bed, and I'm sitting there crying. I'm sitting there crying for 20 minutes. I'm sitting there crying in my own bed, in my own pink sheets. I'm crying. And he finally tells me 20 minutes later that it's one of his old coworkers from Florida that moved up to Seattle, and she was just telling him recommendations on what to do and all that. And he said that he told her that him and me were gonna go check it out. Thank you for the recommendations. But also now when I look back at it, it's like, why were you asking her when she's not even a Washington native? Like, I've lived in Washington my entire life, and you're not gonna ask me for recommendations? Like, that was just weird. And I'm just like so upset with him, and I'm just, at this point, I'm so tired of arguing. I am so sick of arguing. I'm so sick of feeling depleted of energy. I'm so sick of being sad. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Brush it on the rug again. Like every single other problem. I was like, I'm tired of arguing. It got to that point. Like in our relationship, it got to the point where sometimes I would just brush so much under the rug because I was just so sick of arguing. I had no more energy left in me. And so I let it slide. Of course I did. I let it slide. And so I drive him up to LAX, and he has to make it to LAX at like 5:30. So it's like peak traffic hour. And this is my day off. This is my day off. My one day off from my mentally exhausting job. That job took the life out of me. But one day off. Drove him to LAX. Before he leaves, he is getting his suitcases out of my trunk. And he tells me that he loves me. And that's the last time I've ever heard him say that he loves me. And we were still arguing at this point. Like it wasn't just the text message that triggered me, and it's not the only thing that we were fighting about at this moment. I forgot what else we were arguing about, but there were just some other unresolved issues that needed to be fixed. But he obviously was going to Seattle, and I was going to be in Seattle in like a few weeks because my lease still had a couple of weeks and I had to work, all that. And so as he's going up to Seattle, I order him $150 worth of Target groceries to help him get settled. So like laundry detergent, body wash, deodorant, just all the essentials to help him feel more welcome in Seattle, because I know what it's like to move to a new city, not know anyone, not know where anything is. Like, it's tough, it's hard, it's scary. And I knew what that experience was like, so I didn't want him to feel like that, and I wanted him to feel welcome. So I did that. I online ordered him Chick-fil-A, and mind you, I'm in San Diego, so I'm ordering this from my phone. I order him Chick-fil-A. My mom and my brother go pick him up from the airport. They pick up the Target order and the Chick-fil-A first, pick him up from the airport, drive him all the way downtown Seattle. And I live like 30 minutes from downtown Seattle, so it was kind of out of the way for them, but they knew that I loved him and they knew that I really cared about him. So they were willing to go the extra mile to make sure that he was okay. So they drop him off at where he's staying. Everything's good. I'm texting him. I'm like, are you good? Do you need anything? And my brother and my mom are like, if you need anything at all, if you need help with anything, like, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here for you. And I'm making sure he's okay. It's like the first actual day of him being there. I FaceTime him once and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? How are you settling in? How are the people you've met? All that. Because he had a new job and everything. And he already met a group of friends, and which is great. I'm glad that I want my boyfriend to have friends, you know? But I'm asking him if we could have a little conversation because, a reminder, we were still arguing. There were still things that were unresolved. And I was just having a lot of anxiety. Like, I was just really anxious because when I was moving out of San Diego, I've lived in that apartment and lived in San Diego for 3 years. I was picking up all my stuff, leaving that. Super anxious, had to move away. I'm going out of the country in a month. I don't know, 2 months. I'm just really anxious and we're fighting and I just want to fix things. And he tells me that he's just really stressed out with his new job, being in a new city. He doesn't want to talk right now, which I understand. It is very stressful, and I am a firm believer that your well-being comes before anyone else's. The feeling really sucked of I always put him before myself, and for him to not even want to text me or give me a call really hurt. Like, really hurt. And for him to meet these new people that he literally just met and put them over me just really hurt, because I remember we were on that one FaceTime call and he was like, hey, like, I gotta go, my friends and I are gonna hang out. And I was like, okay. Like, crying, tear down my eye. I'm like crying, I'm like, okay, have fun. But yeah, he goes and hangs out with his friends, and I'm texting him like, oh, I hope you have fun, all that. And next day comes around, I'm like, hey, like, can we please have like a 5-minute phone call? Like, can we just talk for 5 minutes? He's like, no, I'm just really stressed out. Like, I don't want to talk right now. It's gonna stress me out even more. We could just talk when you come down or come up here. And I was like, no, like, please, like, give me 5 minutes. Literally sitting there begging him for a 5-minute conversation. I'm like, please, like, I have so much anxiety right now. Like, I can't, like, please just talk to me. I'm moving, like, please. And he's just refusing. He's refusing to give me a 5-minute conversation. And I'm really upset. And so there's one night, and this was like 3 days before it would have been our 1-year anniversary. One night I'm texting him, he just is really upsetting me because he's just not communicating with me, and it's giving me so much anxiety. And so I make a snarky little comment, and I'm like, oh, like, get your other girlfriend to do it or something like that. And he was like, what are you talking about, all this blah blah blah. And then he sends me a picture of what he's doing and it's like a picture of a guy playing an arcade machine in like an apartment complex's common area, and the other picture is a picture of the TV and a couch, and there's a guy fixing the couch, and in the reflection of the TV I see a girl. I see a girl, and he tells me that he's with 3 people. He's with 2 guys and 1 girl, and I flip out. I remember I saved the picture and I send it to my cousin. I call my cousin on FaceTime and I'm like, please tell me that that's not a girl in the picture. Please tell me that's him. Like, please, I'm freaking out. Like, I literally had a panic attack. Like, I was freaking the fuck out. And she's like, girl, I'm sorry, that's a girl. Unless he's like a 5-foot girl with black long hair, like, that's a girl. And I was like, wait, he's bald. And I crashed out so fucking hard. And I remember I texted him and I was like, don't ever fucking talk to me ever again. Like, I was pissed. And he was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And actually, no, he didn't even say that. He actually left me on delivered, and he didn't text me until the next morning and said, you were ODing last night, you were overdoing it. And I was like, what? And I remember I looked at the picture, I saved it to my photo album, and I swiped up and it wasn't even taken on his phone. And I was like, you're being so weird, like, you're being so sketch right now. You can't even give me a 5-minute conversation, but you could hang out with people you just met, like, but your girlfriend that helped you moved up here, that you've been together with for basically a year, you can't even give me the time of day. Like, that was fucked up. And I ended up texting him back and I was like, you were so sketch about this, like, it wasn't even taken on your phone. I was like, I literally cried myself to sleep last night and you couldn't care less. Like, are you kidding me? And he was basically telling me, he was like just making up other lies. He was like, first of all, I wasn't even in that room. He was like, I was upstairs cooking, so you're kind of tripping. And I was like, why would you send me a picture of something that you weren't even doing? Like, why wouldn't you send me a picture of you cooking? And then he later tells me that there were 2 girls and 2 guys. But mind you, in the pictures that he sent me of what he was doing, there was only 2 guys and 1 girl. So, like, his stories were just not adding up. And I was like, again, I kind of let it slide, and I was like, I was really upset with him, and I still was really upset with him, but I still wanted to get a conversation out of him. I still wanted to get some type of closure. At this point, like, I'm just so upset. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so I I just stopped talking to him for a little bit, and then I talk to him, break no contact, whatever. I have some of his stuff from San Diego because he left some of the stuff in San Diego so I could bring it up later. So I had his suitcase, all this. So we're texting for a little bit, and then he makes me mad all over again. because we're still arguing about the picture. We're still arguing about whatever we were arguing about. And I have his stuff. And mind you, in Seattle, and no, sorry, in San Diego, he would always say, like, we are so good for each other. Like, I see us getting old together, having kids. Like, he would always create that narrative for us. And he would never say this. He would never say this in San Diego. But as soon as he's in Seattle and I can't provide, because I provided for him a lot. Like, I did a lot for him. And it just sucked knowing that as soon as he gets to Seattle and I'm not providing for him anymore, and I can't provide for him because I'm going out of the country, like, he says this to me, but he texts me and he's like, we're just not good together. And I lost it because I was like, what do you mean we're not good together? Like, what do you mean? You've been telling me for an entire year that we are the perfect match, we're soulmates, all this, and now all of a sudden you're telling me after I move you up to my hometown that we're not good together? Oh, you're tripping. Yeah, tripping. But yeah, he tells me that, and so I freak out. I have his stuff in my trunk, and I'm like, where do you work? Because I'm dropping your stuff off. I know where you live because my mom dropped you off. Whatever. So it's either you tell me where you work or I'm showing up to where you live. And he finally folded and he told me where he worked. And so I pull up to his work in Seattle and I have his suitcases in hand. I asked his manager where he's at. His manager is like, oh, like, he's in the back somewhere. Like, I could hold his stuff for you. And I'm like, no. Where is he? Is he scared to talk to me? Where is he? And his manager's like, no, it's okay. You can just leave. I'm like, no, I'm going to stay here until he comes out. And so I'm sitting there with his suitcases. He comes out and he's like, why didn't you just text me? I would have met you outside. I'm like, no, I'll give it to you right now. And I remember I told him, I looked at him in his eye as I'm holding his suitcase. I'm like, you will regret every single decision you've made that led up to you losing me. And I'm holding on to his suitcase. He's like, okay, like, give me my stuff. And I'm like, no. Not before I call you a fucking liar first. So I'm like, you're a fucking liar. And I, like, push his suitcase towards him and I walk out. And, you know, it's my first relationship. I'm still really sad. I'm still really upset. And I'm, like, on the phone with my best friend. And I'm like, dude, I'm done. Like, this is it. Like, this is the final straw. Like, I'm done. I'm freaking out. On FaceTime. Poor her. She was listening to me crash out so much. But yeah, I'm like crashing the fuck out and I block him for like maybe 30 minutes and I unblock him. And for some reason, I apologize. I apologize. And I'm like, hey, can we have one more talk? Please, like, can we have one more talk before, like, we just end things? Because I wanted that closure. And mind you, it's my first relationship. So I'm like, I'm just a mess. I'm a mess. We actually had 2 more conversations, but the first conversation just wasn't even us talking. Like, it was just us catching up. The second conversation was the one where it was a mess. A complete mess. But basically, we meet up. I drive him to Alki. We're sitting on one of the benches. If you know Alki, you know. But we're sitting on one of the benches. I'm explaining to him why I was so upset about the picture, why I was so upset he wasn't talking to me, just basically explaining myself. And like, I shouldn't have to explain myself on why I was so upset. Like, your actions, like, you don't see anything wrong with your actions. But I'm explaining to him why I'm so upset, and I'm like, dude, like, I love you a lot, but I can't endure this abuse anymore. Like, I can't do it anymore. And he was like, well, we can still be friends. And I remember asking him, I was like, why do you want to be friends with me so bad? You're not friends with any of your other exes. Like, what makes me so special? And he has the audacity to be like, what do you mean? I still talk to my exes. And I was like, I'm standing there frozen. I'm like, what do you mean you still talk to your exes? And he was like, yeah, I'm still friends with one of them. And I was like, because I remember I was sitting in my pink sheets all colored up, and I look at him, and this was like our beginning of our relationship. I look at him and I'm like, do you still talk to your exes? And he was like, no, hell no. And so when he told me that he still kept in touch with his exes, I crashed out because I was like, so you lied to me, and he started gaslighting me. He's like, no, I've told you this before, I told you this. And I'm like, no, you didn't, you actually lied to me. And then I'm like, I brushed it under the rug again because I'm done arguing, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm done. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, well, we could still be friends. And at this point, like, I'm telling him, like, basically how much I love him and all this. And he has the audacity to be like, well, yeah, I'm telling you how much I love you. And he goes, well, yeah, you could, like, be invited to my wedding. When I tell you, on my way home, I literally am driving, blasting Open Arms by SZA. I'm bawling my eyes out, playing, oh my god, I crashed out. I didn't crash out with him, but like when I was driving home, I crashed out. I was so sad. And he has said a lot of really mean things to me and has said a lot of fucked up things to me, but I think him inviting me to his wedding after I just told him how much I loved him, that one hurt like a bitch. Like, oh my god, it still traumatizes me, like, thinking about it. Like, it still really hurts. Like, that really hurt. That one really got me. But that was like the gist. It's getting dark, but that was kind of the gist of my last relationship, why we broke up and all that. And it's kind of just shedding light on being in a narcissistic relationship and how draining it is, and like how you just kind of deal with stuff and you let stuff slide because you're just so tired of arguing, you're just so tired of feeling sad all the time. And like, I didn't want to gain any self-respect if that meant losing him. And I think it also has to do a lot with it being my first love and me just having the rose-colored glasses and thinking that I could fix him. But you really can't fix anyone. If they don't want to fix themselves, you can't do anything about it. And it's like, he just pretended to be, and I think another hard thing that kind of has been a struggle with was I had to mourn someone that didn't even exist. Like, who he pretended to be in the beginning of the relationship is not who he was. That's not who he was. Like, he just pretended to be that person to get me, and his real identity and the real person he was revealed later on in the relationship. And it was like, I was just, every time we would get into an argument or stuff like that, I was just crying and like begging that person that I fell in love with to come back. And like, you can't just sit there and beg someone to love you. And it's like, I knew all these things in my head, and I've done the self-work and I've done the self-healing and stuff like that, but it's like, when you have the rose-colored glasses on, nothing matters. Like, your brain can know, but whatever your heart wants, that's where the struggle is. I'm only going to say a couple more things because it's literally getting so dark, but I think that's something that's helped me find closure, because I think when I was sitting there begging him to have a conversation with me and begging him to bring me closure, I think something that I came to terms with was that I don't have to understand why he did the things he did, and I should be grateful that I don't understand why he did those things, because my heart and my mind wouldn't even think about doing those things to someone. So it's like, that's my closure. That's my closure of like, I'm grateful that I don't understand. And it's like, why would I cry over someone that had to pretend to be someone in order for someone to like them? Did that make sense? I don't know if that made sense, but I have like this whole list of like notes that helped me heal. He wasn't sorry when I didn't know, so it's like, he really wasn't sorry. And I think that was another thing that was hard for me to come to terms with. But maybe I'll do a whole nother video on healing and how I healed from this, and how I'm still healing my insecurities and stuff like that, because it's really getting dark and the lighting is making me mad. But yeah, that was my little traumatic story. Okay, it is literally so dark now, but if you made it this far, I hope you found my story time at least entertaining, or if you have been in a similar situation, I hope this kind of has helped your healing process, and I hope it's helped you process your situation as well. But it is literally so dark and this lighting is pissing me off. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll be more consistent on making more videos. Anyways, love you.